right, now we're going to be taking out the right tail light on a 98 Impreza Subaru Outback. It's a little different from the left side because you do not have the access panel right here to get to the fifth nut that's back here in the corner. All right, we're going to go ahead and take the light harness out, the bulbs. You're going to twist them to the left, kind of wiggle a little bit. Those will come right out. This is the harness. This harness is completely changeable as well. You can change that whole thing in case yours is messed up. Use an 8mm. We got 4 nuts back here. We're gonna go ahead and break loose. I just dropped that one. It's gone forever. To the abyss. It's all right. I usually like to just take out the whole panel because then I don't have to worry about fighting it or bending it back and holding it back. You know, it kind of gets a pain in the ass. So first we're going to go ahead and just start taking apart some of the plastics here. I'm using a flathead screwdriver to pull these out. There's a little guide where you actually can put this in and it pops right out. There's usually a little plastic cover right here. It looks like it's already gone. Just use your fingers and just kind of pop that loose. There's some screws down here at the bottom. They normally have little covers on them, these little black covers that cover up the back of the screws. They're like little protectors, like shields. And then once you get up, there's usually 3 of those, but I already had the other 2 taken off. And the screw hooks go right here in these holes. And they sit like this. There's 3 of them. Just pop those off, and then you can slide this right over the screws. Now there's a fastener right here. Just using the Phillips head, they come out real easy. I always put these back together again so that way I don't lose them. This is supposed to just push down and come off, but they always tend to get stuck. Someone's already taken some of the screws out for me ahead of time. Sorry about that, guys. Not to be able to show you all that. There's a Phillips head screw right here. We're going to pop this off too. This has just plastic clips that lock it into place. These little tabs, you kind of have to be a little strong with this because it's just clipped in there. You kind of just have to just pop it out. They're pretty tough. I've not broken them by doing that. Another little beauty clip down here, pop out. And you can see that's really loose. You may have to lift this up and out of the way, get that panel out. Now you're able to just pull this completely to the side. And if you come back around over here, you can see that there's a cigarette adapter for a power supply in the rear. Be careful that you don't yank on this too hard, because then you can break this. There is a disconnect right here. It's just a push in. There's a little tab right here. You just push this in and unlocks it. Very simple. Now what you're going to do is you're just basically going to push this back, sit down. And now there's this little shielding back here, sound dampening material, and the last bolt's back here. Now there's 5 8mm bolts. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then right behind this, there's a 5th one back here. This one's hiding. This was the one everybody forgets about. Electric ratchet. It's a little bit easier to get in there. I'm using a 2-inch extension with the 8mm socket. It's a, what do you call it? It's a deep socket. You're going to need a deep socket. For some reason I didn't want to go on there. There's your 8mm nut right there. So now you can go ahead and push from the back, put your other hand in the front to guide it, and it comes right out. Remember, if you've seen my last video on taking out the left side, there's a seal that surrounds it. So again, if you guys are in a colder climate, this seal, this glue is really, really tough, really hard. You're not going to be able to just push this out. You're going to have to heat it up with a heat gun or a blow dryer, something that's just going to go ahead and soften this up. So when you go to push it out, it's going to release. You know, another thing you can do is, like, if you're, you know, somewhere where it's hot out, you can back the car up into the back of the sun and let it sit out there for about 20 minutes, a half hour, and let it heat up. That should be enough to loosen this up and then let it come out as easy as it just did.